Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Audio bandwidth for the Daily Giz Wiz is provided by Winamp. Subscribe to the Daily Giz Wiz and all your favorite podcasts with the ultimate media player. Download it for free at winamp.com. Video bandwidth for the Daily Giz Wiz is provided by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com. It's time for the Daily Giz Wiz with Mad's maddest writer, Dick DeBartolo. This is episode 1142 for Tuesday, July 27th, 2010, the Panasonic GH1.
Now, get ready for Dick.
Hey, it's Dick DeBartolo, Mad's maddest writer, and the Giz Wiz. One day a week, thankfully, we go back to under Leo's desk. I was going to say Gadget Warehouse. He doesn't have a warehouse. All his crap is under his
the desk.
On Turn the Table Tuesday.
Yes. Under his desk. Yeah.
Look, here's some crap to share. I love this. It's a spork.
Hello, Richard. How are you today?
I'm good. People who are worried about the 2x4 can relax.
No.
Not today.
Not today. Not a 2x4. In fact, this is a camera that isn't even a brand new camera. It's been out for about a year, but I have fallen.
Now we're doing used stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I got this on Craigslist for $99.95.
No, I fell in love with this camera because, well, I'd been reading the reviews, but then recently I read that people have started hacking the firmware on this camera, and it's very interesting what people are starting to do. So let me tell you what it is. This is a Panasonic camera. It's a Lumix. I've talked about the Panasonic Lumix LX3 before, which is my wife's favorite camera. It's a great point and shoot. This is more pricey, more fancy. It's a micro 4/3 format camera, which means it's an SLR, sort of. It's got interchangeable lenses, but it is a smaller sensor than, say, the Canon 5D. It's a micro 4/3. It's I don't know why they call it 4/3, because it's really more like 2/3 the size of a regular sensor. I should look that up. But anyway, people will know the name. It's a standard. In fact, you can use lenses from any micro 4/3 system from any manufacturer on these Panasonic. So Olympus makes one, the EP1. I've talked about that. That's another one. This one's the Lumix GH1. And here's the interesting thing about this. Yes, it's a 12 megapixel, very nice still camera. It's, by the way, about $1,200. It's not cheap. And that includes, yeah, I know. And that includes the kit lens, which is, it's rated 14 millimeters to 140 millimeters.
Whoa, that's huge.
It's really long. Look how big it gets.
Yeah.
But it also, but now because it's micro 4/3, it's actually really 28 to 280. So it's a really long lens. I mean, this is like, be good for sports. And the 28 millimeter is really wide angle. So this really one lens does it all. There is a 17 millimeter flat pancake lens if you want smaller. These are smaller than traditional SLRs. So it's nice. It's a fairly lightweight camera. Does do very nice images. It isn't an SLR, and this is kind of a technical distinction. SLR means that there's a mirror in the camera, and when you look through the viewfinder, you're looking through the lens. So SLRs are often called through the lens reflex, where you're looking through it, and when you take a picture of it, the mirror lifts up out of the way. That's that big clunk sound you hear on digital and film SLRs, and then the film is exposed, and then the mirror moves back into place. This, because it doesn't, this is actually a camera pickup. You're not looking through the lens. You're looking at a small video camera that is on the other side of the lens. So it takes a little getting used to. It also has, which is really nice because of that, it has a large LCD screen that flips out and can be used at almost any angle.
That's nice.
So if you want to take a picture over your head, you could do this and turn it, tilt it down, and see what you're taking a picture of. But there's a reason for that. Does this remind you of a camcorder? Well, this this camera really is more than just a digital still camera. It's a camcorder, and Panasonic has built in a lot of camcorder features into this. It takes very high quality video. Now, I was moderately impressed with the camera. It's pricey. I wasn't going to run out and get it. It's not a replacement for my 5D, and yet it's bigger than a pocket camera, so I didn't really think I needed it until I read about a guy named Tester13. Tester13 has created a firmware patch for this camera that allows you to turn on features that Panasonic doesn't turn on by default. So far, as far as I can tell, Panasonic hasn't said anything about this. They haven't blocked it. It's very easy to do. You do need a Windows machine. The firmware changer is free. You actually download a program that you then load in. You download the firmware, the current firmware from the Panasonic site. You load it into this program, and there's just checkboxes. And there's all sorts of checkboxes. There's almost an infinite number of checkboxes. So I went to, I first read about this on Luminous Landscape, which is a great photography blog by Michael Reichman. The best place to go for this, for information on this, is dvxuser.com, which is a forum where Tester13, whose real name is Vitaly Kiselev, lives. And he talks about the hack here and how to use it and where to get the software and so forth.
Well, give an example of something that
here's the deal.
There and turned off.
Here's the deal. For instance, in Europe, if a camera can record more than 30 minutes of video, it's called a camcorder and not a still camera, and the tax rate is higher. So this camera, as it comes out of the box, can only do 30 minutes at a time. This hack turns that feature off, so you can take as much as you want. Oh, okay. But most important to me, it allows you to increase the quality of the video almost to an amazing point. Now, it's a 12 megapixel pickup, so that means it's native 720p. It can't shoot native 1080p, true full high def, but it can shoot very high bit rate, 720p. I know this is a little technical, so this is for people who are interested in video. And it can shoot it in two formats, the native AVC HD, which a lot of camcorders do these days, but you can also turn on Motion JPEG, MJPEG. Now, that's a format I really like because you could just copy that file off the SD card, it uses SD cards, onto a computer and then edit it directly with Final Cut or iMovie or any video editing program. AVC is not unfortunately, you have to import it through the camera and you have to go through some steps. So it's very nice to be able to copy the MJPEG off. You can get the bit rates up on MJPEG to 50 or 70 megabits per second. What that means is this is super high quality, high def video in this little camcorder or little camera. I've been doing some tests of this thing. It is amazing. In fact, I'm going to start, I actually got it because we were going to start shooting shows with this. We were even very interested in replacing our studio cameras with this. Unfortunately, even though it does have HDMI out, our tests show that it doesn't have live HDMI out, which is what we would need. We need to be able to hook this up and take live video out of it. That might be a hack for another day. I'll have to ask Tester13. But I'm very happy. I basically have a small, relatively small, digital SLR-style camera with some really good lenses. Panasonic makes fantastic lenses. It's a great body with a lot of nice features. It has all the kind of pro features on the settings. It also has, unlike my my Canon, it has a built-in flash. So this is kind of a nice camera just to have with you. And when I want to shoot great video, it can. In fact, I can be shooting stills, boom, 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 and there's a button, just like a camcorder. There's a button right on here. I could push and immediately start shooting high-def video. Really good quality high-def video. So that was,
you have to think down the road, Leo. If that hack works out and you can record live video, we would have to start doing the daily GizWiz live. How could that be?
No, we'll have to stop doing it live and start doing it on tape.
Oh, okay.
You see?
Okay.
It seems like it's live, but it's not.
I would be too nervous if I
Me
thought
too.
It was...
If we thought there were people watching, what would we do? It would be embarrassing.
You would clam right up.
I'm sorry.
And I would pay about $1 million to see that.
Yeah, good luck on the clam. So I just found this very interesting. I thought the hack was interesting. I wanted to report back that I've done the hack. It's very easy to do. It doesn't really risk the camera. You keep a copy of the regular firmware, and you can always load that in unless you somehow screw the camera up. But modifying the settings in the firmware doesn't really risk anything. Again, do this at your own risk. I'm not saying it's completely safe. There's always a chance. But I was very impressed, and I have to say, I am going to shoot more video with this thing. Now, remember, I have a 5D Mark II, which shoots 1080p, real 1080p video. But this is smaller, easier to carry around, and this single lens gives me a lot of flexibility. Unlike the 5D Mark II, it has autofocus, it has face recognition, so it'll automatically change the focus. It has silent zooming, which you can do while you're shooting. So it's really much more suited to be a camcorder. It really has a lot of the features you'd expect from a camcorder. And unlike the 5D Mark II, you can shoot, continuous high-def video. The biggest files it'll write are 2 gigabytes, but it just starts another file and continues to write. You do need, if you want to do the super high-quality video, you need a special SD card, a Class 10 SD card. They're now making these cards faster and faster. Typically you'll see the inexpensive SD cards are Class 4 or Class 6. Class 10 can write 30 megabytes per second, which means it's fast enough to accept the video coming in off this camera. And you need a card that fast to do the higher quality video. In fact, I was able to set the video quality too high to write to the card. The camera said, no, the card can't keep up. So you've got to be careful with the settings on that. But I'm just loving this and the video I can get from this. Audio, it has a pretty good stereo mic built into it. I was actually pretty impressed with the quality of the audio, but it also has a mini jack and a shoe. So I've been using I several years ago recommended the Rode stereo mic for a still camera with the mini jack in. I use that on it. It gives you great sound. The one negative, in fact, it's the only one I can find on this, is you can't monitor the audio. There's no headphone out. So most camcorders, you can monitor the audio as you shoot it. You're just going to have to trust that you're getting good audio. That's kind of a negative. But in every other respect, for the price, I mean, it's expensive, but it's a very good professional grade, in my opinion, video camera, and a really, really great little digital SLR. If you were only going to buy one camera for a special trip, this might be it. I'm going to Antarctica in February. I just found out how much that's going to cost. More than the camera.
Wow.
Well, we're going on a cruise. We're going on a cruise February 11th. It's a Mac Mania cruise, so we're going from Buenos Aires around Cape Horn up to Santiago, Chile. But when we stop right off past Cape Horn, I think it's Punta Arenas, something like that, there's an excursion. You know how cruises, you have excursions?
Yes, yeah.
There's an excursion to Antarctica. And I thought, well, excursion is $300, $100, something like that. A day in Antarctica, $3,000.
What?
Well, because they have to charter a plane, and apparently it's it's cold, so you got to get mucklucks. So I mean, it's expensive. I don't know if I was like,
mucklucks are fortune.
Mucklucks will set you back. Well, as everybody knows, mucks are an endangered species.
Oh yeah.
It's because we got all their luck.
You would be in luck.
I beat you to it, but yours was better, so I'm going to give you full points on that.
Okay, thanks.
So, anyway, so this is the kind I wanted to bring, like something lightweight, easy to use camera that I can get this precious, expensive trip on. But
you're the only person I know who buys a camera
just for
and then has to find an expensive place to go to justify having the expensive camera. But it works for you.
It works for me. This is what I tell my wife. That's all. And
I was going to say, if it works for you and it works for Jennifer,
she's very
nice. God love you.
I don't know. I'm like choked when I just found out yesterday that that's how much this excursion is, and I thought, but I can't get that close to Antarctica and not go. It'll be my seventh continent, Dick.
Oh, then you'll have the merit badge.
Set. Yes,
you'll have your whole.
When I get to those pearly gates, and St. Peter says, "What did you do with your life?" I'll say, "Hey, I saw all 7 continents."
Oh, go on in. Yeah, do you have a camera with you? Please, no cameras.
Well, I just happen to have a video camera.
No cameras. Please.
What?
Leave
No,
your camera
forget it.
Gate.
Forget it. All right, I'm done now.
Tell us the model again.
It is the Panasonic Lumix, Lumix GH1. And if you want to find out more about hacking it and all the information about hacking it, that is at the DVX user website, which is dvxuser.com. You'll see a Panasonic GH1 forum, and inside there, the GH1 firmware hack there. It's where this is not illegal to do. I suppose it could be considered to violate the warranty. Panasonic hasn't said. But frankly, I think Panasonic probably loves this. It sells a lot of cameras for them. And rightly so. This is between, the capabilities of this camera. It's kind of interesting. They didn't turn them on. But the capabilities of this camera are fantastic. The Panasonic Lumix GH1 camera, and I bought it from Amazon. I think it was $11.97, something like that. It's a little pricey, but that includes the lens. So, Here come the letters. Here come the Giz Wiz letters now. Here come the Giz. I said the Giz Wiz. Now a letter that Dick passed along to me from Kurt Grimes, Chicago, Illinois. And I like his typeface. It looks like Courier. It's like he typed this. It says, I'm going to get straight to the point. That's probably why he's using Courier. Leo, right. You recently demoed your new iPhone 4 on the Daily GizWiz. Stop. One flaw you were quick to demonstrate was the proximity sensor sensitivity issues. Stop.
What, he sent you a telegram?
Yeah. Does anybody send telegrams anymore?
I don't think so. I think they send them, but Western Union doesn't deliver them.
What happened? That's the problem. Instead, they're sitting there piling up at the office.
Exactly. Exactly.
As you stated, the purpose of such a sensor is to prevent accidental cheek button presses. Oh, nothing worse than accidental cheek button press.
Yeah. Sitting on a stove.
During the call. However, the way you attempted to demonstrate this feature was totally wrong. I love letters like this. I am here to report that the sensor checks for the proximity of your cheeks only during a call. And you attempted to demonstrate its functionality and note that it was not working while not making a call. I hope you are relieved to know that your new iPhone 4 in reality probably mostly works.
Oh, good.
Probably
Signed
mostly
Steve Jobs.
doesn't. Signed Steve Jobs. Well, let me just say that I know that, but what was I going to do? Make a call during the GizWiz? No, it doesn't work. And by the way, it's a piece of crap. I did the review. I should do an update on this. I have stopped using the iPhone 4 because it dropped 5 calls in 2 days, and it's like I can't. I live in a marginal reception area, which I think is most of the United States for AT&T. and so at home, I only get, under the news status, I only get 3 bars. I'm getting 3 bars here. So, that means it's pretty low on the connectivity. And the minute, it looks fine and I can dial a call and then I pick it up and I put it to my ear. The proximity works sometimes, most of the time doesn't. Many of the time I've muted a call or accidentally sent dial tones. If you ever talk to me on the phone and you hear beep, it's because my cheek has hit the tone thing. And by the way, Apple admitted their proximity sensor is problematic on some phones, so it's not just me. But I dropped calls like crazy as soon as I picked the thing up, and I even got a case for it, and it's still dropping calls.
Does your case match your shirt?
It does. Well, I have cases for every day of the week.
Oh, okay. And it also matches the Carbonite logo, I might add.
It is. It's purple.
Yeah.
It's purple. I love the purple.
Okay.
See, look at that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. No, purple's my favorite color. I love purple.
Okay.
This is something you didn't know about me. That matches my eyes. So I've stopped using it. I like the iPhone. It's a great phone. If you get good AT&T signal, by all means, I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying be aware there are antenna problems. As you know, Steve blamed the press, said it was our fault, and then gave everybody a free case. So that's great. I already bought mine, Steve. Thank you. And I'm still not using it because I like this Droid X that you recommended. You're not using the Droid X, but you're a Verizon guy.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm staying with Verizon. I just don't want to move.
You're right.
I've never, in my travels, gone to an area where I don't get reception.
Right.
So,
well, I will keep the iPhone for
with
traveling.
Phone, that tends to be an important thing.
It is. Yeah. See, you and I were old-fashioned. We used the phone to make calls. Unheard of, I know. I will keep the iPhone and my Nexus One. I do keep GSM phones for when I go out of the country because you do need a GSM phone for then. But I think I'm going to start using Verizon. I haven't dropped a single call in a week, or not a week, 4 days, and it's just been great. And I like that big screen. But you're not now. This isn't your primary phone, the Droid X, is it?
No, I'm using the LG 3. But I carry that around just to impress people.
It's impressive. Anyway, Kurt, thank you for the correction. I do understand that, and I realized I was trying to demonstrate it without being on a call, but I just didn't want to make a call during the middle of the show. It still doesn't work for me, and it's a problem Apple's admitted, and they think that they're going to be able to fix that in firmware down the road.
And their PR department's working on that right now.
Yeah.
They have 80 people in PR and 1 engineer.
And Steve took the New York Times to visit their lab where they got people sleeping on cots day and night working to solve this antenna problem. And I believe that Apple really is trying to solve it. But I just thought it sounded like Richard Nixon, where he was calling it Antenna Gate and he was blaming the media. He said, "There's nothing wrong with the phone. It's not the phone, it's the media." And I mean, it's like, come on, just say, yeah, we got an antenna problem. A lot of phones do. We're going to give you a free case. It's not the end of the world. But it was just very strange. His response was like, it's not our fault. We didn't do it. You did it. The media did it. You nattering nabobs of negativity. How dare you?
Wow, I should have listened to that speech. It sounded interesting.
All right, I'm through. I'm done. I'm out of here. Tomorrow you're back to work. It's Win the Wages Wednesday. I'll see you then.
And I'll be here.
DAIL. It's the Daily Giz Wiz. It's the Daily Giz Wiz. It's the Daily Giz Wiz.
It makes its own gravy.
Yeah.